Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we are doing another kind of NECA King Kong video discussion, which I kind of want to speculate what is going to be the next figure in NECA's King Kong line, because it's technically part of a much larger whole of the line, that being NECA's Ultimate figures, as shown by their 12 days of downloads, the style guides and whatnot. Which these four Kongs, the NECA Kong, Poster Kong, the Concrete Jungle Kong, and the Skull Island Kong, are all shown off with all their other figures in the 8-inch scale, come with accessories, yada yada yada. So far, we have gotten only 4 figures across a span of, I guess you want to say technically 1 year? Would it be 1 year? Yeah, it would be 1 year. And, it's amazing to think that, even though they're all repaints, it's amazing to think that they can push out 4 versions of the same character. But since the last 2 releases, because keep in mind it was a dual release for Father's Day of 2021, it was the Concrete Jungle and the Skull Island version. That is it. That is the entirety of NECA's King Kong line up to date. And it is 2023, already February, and we have not heard anything else. We haven't heard anything in 2022 and nothing this year. Although it is worth noting that I think it was in April of 2022 that they released like an April Fool's joke saying that there was going to be like a bigger version of Kong. Can't remember how big they said, but like it was basically just a big freaking King Kong figure. Although I think either they did create an actual prototype for it or that was just clearly edited. But either way, I would pay money to get that. Like, please, NECA, make a bigger version of Kong. Like, the world needs him. If you get it, you get it. But that being said, yeah, that's like the only other King Kong news from NECA that we've heard. Like, nothing else has come out of this line. And that is honestly kind of disappointing because we were getting really hyped to see like another big high-end kaiju figure line coming from NECA, because we already had Pacific Rim, we already had Godzilla, which I'm really hoping they return to someday. Like, there's so much more films they can do and get so much more money. Since Godzilla is more popular than ever thanks to his recent crossover with Kong, plus a sequel film in the works, plus a new Toho film in the works, plus a whole new series for Apple TV, and just more media on the way. But that's its own video for another day, even though I think I already made that sort of video. But yeah, essentially, I feel as if they should be doing some more King Kong stuff. So, with that being said, why haven't they made any other specific versions of Kong? I personally have no reason as to why. Because, well, like, I haven't found a reason. They just kind of made them and just kind of dipped. It's definitely not because of lack of sales, because King Kong, when he was first revealed, was like literally the most popular thing NECA made. It got so many damn likes on Instagram and Twitter that people were just freaking out about it. Even I was. King Kong getting his own NECA figure, this is something we've been demanding since the Godzilla license and Kong Skull Island. So for them to finally deliver it in 2020, I'm all good, cool for that. But here's the difference. You notice how this King Kong was never based on any specific version of Kong, even though he is clearly inspired by the 1933 design? Yeah, the difference between the Godzilla, Pacific Rim, and Kong line was that the Godzilla and Pacific Rim figures were based on a specific character or specific incarnation of said character. This Kong really doesn't have any specific incarnation, so they can't really go ahead and make a Kong Skull Island figure like from Legendary or Peter Jackson King Kong without going to respective companies, different licensees, etc., etc. That means just so much licensing, because King Kong's license is just a pure mess. It's not just one company owning the entire character, no. Kong is owned by like Warner Brothers, Universal, it's RKO, I think the name of the company is, that made the original 1933 Kong. I want to say that's their name. I don't know. It's definitely something like that. But yeah, basically, I feel like NECA would probably have a hard time going through all those licensees, even if they have worked with them in the past, just to get a King Kong license, just to work on that specific version of the character. And not to mention, remember that King Kong, because like they pretty much done all the main things. You got this version, they got a poster version, they've got a Skull Island version, and they got a Concrete Jungle version. What else could you really need? Well, there's one version that I think NECA could have done, and I believe they actually probably were in very deep development, at least so for a good amount of time, before they switched things up on a specific version of Kong. And that is none other than the black and white version of Kong. Now, remember, this character is from 1933 and has literally one of the best black and white movies ever made, or most iconic, I guess. So, I mean, if Mezco can go ahead and make a black and white Kong, can't NECA? Yes, they could. But for one reason or another, I believe that they were making it, but then switched it out for something else. And that something else was actually this guy. Or, well, I'm only putting him on the table for now, but this is who I believe was the original version of the black and white Kong. Now, you might be wondering, how does that compute anything? Well, let me show you. Look here at the NECA King Kong standard version eyes. You notice how they are obviously white, they're obviously brown, and obviously black. They're colorized, like an actual colored creature. And you see all the scarring and stuff, that's all colored. But look at the Concrete Jungle, which keep in mind is the exact same sculpt and such as the Skull Island. His eyes are black and white. That is definitely like a gray, and black, kind of black and white mix, but everything else is purely colorized. It's all the same as the 1933, the standard version of Kong. Almost literally the same. So, why is it that they would go ahead and color the eyes differently, but keep the bodies completely the same? You see where I'm going with this? I personally believe that NECA was developing a 1933. Okay, I gotta stop saying 1933. This isn't 33. A black and white version of Kong, but for whatever reason, stopped in favor of these two specific Kongs. You see where I'm going with this? And that's not the only evidence I believe that has some sort of weight to it. Something that I don't see a whole lot of people talking about, that I believe pulls some weight at least, is their boxes. If you take a look at this box, this is the original King Kong that NECA made. The first one, of course. This is colorized. Browns, all that sort of good stuff. But take a look at the Concrete Jungle one. It's in black and white. And the dual release Skull Island version is also in black and white. You see where I'm going with this? Furthermore, I'm just going to kind of shoehorn this in. Don't these specific scenes only belong to the 1933 Kong? Okay, maybe not specifically, because I know 2005 kind of did like the Empire State, but this design is mainly based on 1933. He has pretty much the exact same type of stuff that was in the 1933 movie, and these came from that specific movie. I don't think, and remember, that's the only King Kong movie, aside from Son of Kong. Is it black and white? Yeah, I think it is black and white. That is in black and white and tells this story. So I personally believe NECA was making this figure a black and white figure. Also, just to kind of throw this in here, the same thing applies to these guys. This is the pit monster from the Skull Island figure, and this is the pterodactyl pterosaur figure, whatever friggin' name you want to give it. I personally call it pterodactyl, but I mean, you call it what you want to call it. Both of these are literally creatures from the 33 film. At least I think I can't recall actually for the pterodactyl, but I know you're in it. At least some version of you. So maybe this whole theory is false. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm right. But either way, I personally do believe that at some point in time, a black and white version was considered. Maybe this isn't the evidence to show it was considered, but it was still considered either way. Personally, I think that this probably has some sort of weight to it. I mean, again, why would they color the eyes but not the body? Sorry, why would they literally turn the eyes black and white but not the body itself? What I personally what I think happened is that they had everything molded, but they didn't like paint it yet. Like everything was like printed and stuff. Everything was sculpted, ready to go, and they started doing like the face and stuff. But then they realized, let's switch it up a little bit, and then they decided to split it off into two different figures, recycle the body, but keep the eyes. Maybe I'm overstretching this, but I just have a super strong suspicious feeling that that's what happened. But either way, NECA. Even if this theory is wrong, please do a black and white version of Kong. Even if it's an exclusive, make sure it's not a rare exclusive, because I will literally flip. But I would love to see another NECA King Kong. I love these figures, and I want to see more from you guys. But yeah, you definitely guys know that it's in demand. It would do well, it would sell well, and it would be well. I mean, the quality is subjective depending on how much effort you guys put into the QC issues and stuff. But still, it's amazing to think and just speculate what could have been and what might have been at some point in time. You know? But NECA, please make it. You know there's demand for it. You guys have gotten comments before. I've seen the tweets, I've seen comments, and I've seen stuff like videos and whatnot asking for this sort of thing. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, definitely subscribe to the channel. Jesus loves you. God bless you all. Go out there and spread the gospel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, everyone.